Out in the shop again today, and what I'd like to accomplish is to get this machine running. Actually, it runs. I just need to get it connected to the network so I don't have to use a USB drive to put a file in and print a part. So, let's work on that. Welcome to 3D Accuracy, where I'll talk about 3D printing, 3D product design, and 3D injection and die-cast mold design. One thing I do want to do before I get this connected to the internet is to go inside the printer and remove that piece of orange tape. Nobody bothered to take it out. And if you read the instruction manuals that come with this machine, one of the first things they tell you to do, besides taking the materials out of the build chamber, is to remove that piece of orange tape. So nobody did it, and what happens is it cooked that piece of tape. It's crispy, and it's difficult to get it off because it just fried the glue directly to the back of the machine here. So I got a small piece of it off on the end, and then I tried a little alcohol and I tried a little acetone to see if I could get that yucky off of there, and I can't. So what I'm going to have to do is very carefully scrape it with a straight edge razor blade, to get that tape out of there and try to get some of that guck out of there so it looks better. So first I'm going to do that, which may take a while because it's not easy and it's at a cumbersome angle, and I have to bend over and try to reach back up in there, and it's would have been much easier to take the tape out on day one of delivery. Why people do that kind of stuff, I don't know. Okay, anyway, so I'm going to get that piece of tape off, and then we can see about getting it connected to the network. Okay, there you can see I got the tape off, and what's left is all the baked on glue on the back of the tape, and it's on there. And like I mentioned, I tried a couple things, didn't work. I have to scrape it with a razor blade, just a straight edge razor blade, which I'll hold with my fingers. I don't want to put it in a holder because I don't really want to get a lot of pressure on there. I don't want to scratch that metal panel in any way so that it looks messy. I want to keep it clean as I possibly can, so I'm just going to gently work it by hand and see if I can get that glue off of there without causing any damage. And I put a piece of paper here because that's basically, as I scrape it, it's like a powder, and I don't want that powder getting all over the place, so I'd rather just collect it on a piece of paper, and I can easily remove that from the machine after I get this done, and then I'll just clean it all up, and then we'll see if we can get it connected to the network. It took about 10 minutes to gently and carefully scrape all that tape goo off of there. And then I took some acetone, got a little bit on a paper towel, and then went in there and soaked it and rubbed it off and managed to get pretty much all of it off of there. There's just a little hint that something was done there, but no big deal. Much better than having the tape up there. So now that we got that accomplished, I have two choices with this machine. You can hardwire it. There's USB drives, two here and one in the back of the machine down on the bottom. And you can plug in a cable directly to your computer, or you can take a cable and run it up to a router like this machine is plugged into the router, and so is my Fortis over there. There's a wire that runs up and over, comes down, and it's in the router. And the Connex 500, the same, it comes up to the router. But I didn't want to run more cable if I didn't have to. So what I found out is in the instruction manuals, you can get a dongle, little device like this, which I got on Amazon, I believe. And what you do is you just plug this into the machine and it should recognize the router, and then you can connect to the machine that way without having the wire running. So we'll see how that works out. And there is another connection, another USB connection at the back of the machine Okay, you see there's one here that you can use to hardwire directly to the router or your computer, either one. And then there's a USB drive in there, which is where I'm going to put the dongle. And then we should be able to connect to the network and then actually print some parts. I briefed through the instructions on how to get this printer connected to the network. And I'm turning on the machine right now, letting it boot up so we can attempt to do that. Now, one of the things I was going to do is I assume there's some sort of a connection to its previous network. And so I want to go in there and review that. And I'm going to set up a static IP address so that I can put a cable in the back of the printer and go directly to the router if I ever want to do that in the future. I want to have it set up now while I'm messing with it, just in case I decide to do that. Let's start over here, and we should, for connection here, connection type, wired, network dynamic mode. All right, I want to change this. Wired. Okay, then back up. Network mode, dynamic. Okay, they had it set up for dynamic. I want to put it to static. Wired static, IP address, MAC address. Okay, let's go ahead and get all this information put in. Ah, bingo, that's what I wanted. Okay, so let me get all that good stuff entered. I got all the settings for the wired with a static IP address into the 3D printer. Now I'm going through the wireless route, and I was not able to select that until after I put the dongle into the USB port down at the bottom of the machine in the back. So what I need to do then is select the available networks, see what it shows me, and it should show me this router up here, and then see if I can connect to that and if it works. I think I successfully have it with the wireless dongle working. So now I'm going to see if I can connect to it with the computer, then we should be good to go. So I backed up. I didn't want to show all the settings online. Nobody needs to see that. So anyway, okay, now we'll turn the computer on, see if I can connect to the printer. Well, I did manage to get the 3D printer to talk to the computer through GrabCAD. It works. You can see up in the right-hand corner here, that's actually the camera that's inside the printer, showing a picture of what it's looking at, which is an empty build chamber right now. I'll consider this a successful day. We got the 3D printer talking to the computer, so we're good to go. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you're ever in need of 3D product design, 3D injection mold design, 3D die-cast mold design, or 3D printed prototypes or production parts, please feel free to contact me. You can find contact information in the video description. I look forward to hearing from you and to being of service to you. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate it. See you on 3D Accuracy's next video.